Now good because, everything cooking. We're on a different day, different time, so therefore you didn't hear my voice a little bit earlier. But we are live now with the Players League. Let's go, Monkey Man. Glad to have you here in-house. Monkey Man, how you doing today, buddy?
Doing fantastic. You left your voice in yesterday, which is our typical day, but we had to change things up. So a Thursday night throwdown. Haven't said that in a few years since I'd be able to do those. But I'm happy to be back, to seeing all of our awesome student talents, to seeing some STEM on the other side, seeing some great players doing what players do, and that's play some good football. Yeah,
of course, because Players League is all about esports #1 and also STEM as well, hand in hand. Just the perfect example of how those do go together to create an awesome activation for these students to be able to really explore the next level of their learning process here in the Players League. So let's go ahead and get into, if you're here for the first time, what is Players League? And check out the regions competing here as well. We've got Green Bay as Green Bay Southwest and Bayport High School, the two up in Green Bay, and Houston to round out the Central Division. They've got Woodlands Christian Academy and Stafford High School, and of course that Eastern Division, Monkey Man, also pumping.
Carolina bringing out the good old Kearns Academy and T. Wingate Andrews. If anyone wants to tell me if I'm saying that wrong, you better tell me right now, but that's a good name of some great players. We also got New England that has been able to at least put forward Hartford, as well as the, I think you guys said it was SMS Academy, or is
SMSA, baby. Oh,
SMSA,
yeah.
Let's go. Okay, so I said it right. It's not just about texting. It's about being able to get some learning going on over there. So it's going to round out that division as well. So some great squads, some great schools, and we've seen some great competition from all these schools across several of these weeks here, Bear.
Yeah, 8-week long season, so you have to be able to grind it out both on the esports side and the STEM side. So take some serious focus from a lot of talented students, which we've gotten to meet and know very well here on this channel, which is always where you'll find Players League, but also on the STEM broadcast as well, too, which we've got news for you a little bit later on here in the broadcast. But all of this is made possible by Stay Plugged In, of course, but also by Brightspeed Fiber Internet. Big shout out to Brightspeed Fiber Internet, who's here, by the way, and with ultra-fast speeds for all your streaming, gaming, and work needs. No more dead zones, just reliable coverage everywhere in your home. Check and see if Brightspeed Fiber Internet is available in your area by typing !Brightspeed in the chat. Do it right now. !Brightspeed in the chat. And once you do, you can find out if Brightspeed Fiber Internet is available in your area. Big thank you to Brightspeed, who's been great in this process, Monkey Man.
Fantastic, and they've really been able to kind of inspire a lot, especially across our STEM division. We've seen so many great students that have been working on their projects in cahoots with Brightspeed to really find that next big kind of idea, to see what could be able to really kind of push the limits for not only showcasing the awesome partner that Brightspeed is, but also what they want to do as STEM. And it's been fantastic to see them working so well as promoting all of this along Players League. It's been honestly a real joy to be able to work with them.
I was working on something last week, literally. Internet went down. So I don't know if you know this, but there was a rule put in place in 1997, the internet connectivity rule, I believe it was. But either way, you're only allowed 2 providers in your area. Brightspeed's not one of mine. I'm really upset because, like, literally, if I don't have my work, I'm absolutely, like, livid. So I didn't have that. So I don't have the luxury of Brightspeed. So if you have it, I mean, that's certainly one that you want to kind of look into because I wish I had more options than the ones I have right now.
I'm actually looking up right now in my area because I live in a somewhat semi-rural area, and knowing that they're able to reach out not only to kind of inner city and urban central styles, but also being able to reach out to the kind of those farm and locals, that's huge. And I've seen that work out for places like my grandpa, my grandma. So I love that they're able to do kind of that. Well, it's saying that it's as close as New York to me, but I know there's some people that are up in Pennsylvania that are using it. I know that they love the speed that Brightspeed is able to give.
It's fantastic. They also do other initiatives too. Like there's other events going on too. For example, racing.staypluggedin.gg, and what you'll find there is an incredible opportunity for any high school student, quite frankly. If you're into sim racing, this is something that you need to be listening to right now because Formula STEM Esports Cup teaches you not only what jobs are in F1, for example, but in racing in general, but you get to learn about those jobs in the way of what do they do, how do you get into this job, which is crazy. What do you study in school in order to become an operations manager in F1 to get all of the trucks where they need to go? Well, you should probably study logistics, or you should probably study operations management, for example. Not only that, but then it's like, hey, go to LinkedIn or go to X, Y, and Z conventions in order to meet the people that you need to meet in order to get there in the first place. What internships exist in it? All of this is on the broadcasts. And these take place on Tuesdays. So that's the value that you get from Formula STEM Esports Cup presented by Brightspeed Fiber Internet. Again, it's Brightspeed has this connection of they want kids to know or at least figure out or know the steps in the process to get where they want to go in the future, which is something that I've always respected about Brightspeed.
You know, if you're at all someone that likes to get fast on the highway, sim racing has got to be in your lane. And so that's exactly 100%. Why you should check it out. I mean, just last Tuesday, you guys did the, I think it was the Italian GP. So really cool to be able to see all that happening. You got several weeks of that still going on with $5,000 in scholarship prizing. So why not check it out? As I think it's racing.staypluggedin.com. So that's going to be huge, and I will be tuning in because I myself am a motorist and I like to go quick, so I want to be able to see what everyone is doing out there on the speedway as well.
And the plus is $5,000 in scholarship pricing too. So like the worst or the best thing you could do is get signed up for this, and you can start mid-season. We mentioned we've already had the Italian GP, but all you have to do is hit podium, boom, you're in the playoffs, and then you still have that chance for the $5,000 scholarship pricing. So 100% sign up for that if you haven't already. It's very easy to do. You fill out like 5 lines of information, you're good to go. Well, listen, we talked about STEM being part of this too at the Players League, and it is 100% true. These kids are getting hands-on experience creating a commercial for Brightspeed Fiber Internet. So they've already built their storyboards, Monkey Man. We got to see that just a couple weeks ago.
Yes, we did. It was really, really cool. We got to go down through into the nitty-gritty of having to kind of get the camera angles, of having to get the design in mind. And that was judged by the D of E, that's the Director of Education, Justin Ellis, that was able to sit down with us and check all of that out. And that big brain of his is able to hit the sticks and play some Super Smash, but also give some good insight as to what all these awesome students have been able to do and to improve to stay focused on the project, because there was quite a few that you and I got to see. They're like, okay, this is a very neat idea, but it has to be linked to the thesis of the project, which is how does it present an awesome commercial for Brightspeed, and how you can get that subject across. Has to be very effective, being able to reach just a huge audience. And you know what? We're going to see some of those come to fruition and manifest to us here in just the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, workforce development. You have to have the projects in hand. You have to have that first-hand experience specifically. And so how do you make that? How do you create that? How do you bring that story to life? It's simply put, Well, there's a lot that goes into being a content creator, creating, and that's a step of the process, or even a job opportunity where if you're creating commercials for a company like Brightspeed, you have to know how, well, maybe you have to choose your role at the very least, right? Are you going to edit the videos? Are you going to create amazing photos that might be shown on the videos, right? Or you have to edit this all together? Are you the one drawing up the storyboard in the first place? Because listen, my editing skills, subpar. My ability to create a story naturally as a commentator, pretty good. So you can choose exactly where you want to be, and that's the beauty of this project.
Being able to really utilize those skills, and you know what, not just your strengths, but also reinforcing your weaknesses and being able to make them stronger. Because say you're not good at it now, it takes experience, it takes repetition, it takes being able to really dig deep and go out into it. And I am excited to see really these projects come to life, because they had made the storyboards, they had illustrated them for us, and then we got to see kind of the criticisms that were kicked back by the DOV. And now very soon we're going to be seeing those videos and maybe even their first drafts, or maybe even near final drafts, coming to the forefront. That's the most exciting part, because you get to see life into something you've been putting so much effort and time into.
And that's, again, the difference that I've seen about Players League specifically is the fact that Justin Ellis, aka Director of Education, is very much on point as far as his feedback goes. So he's not going to let you get away with turning in a late project, because just like in my job, if I showed up late for this stream, which I kind of did with my voice today, seeing as it was muted at first, but if you're late to your job, regardless of what that job is, it's not great. You got to hit deadlines, and so having that voice has been great here in Players League. And I've loved the STEM portion of this. And of course, we have one next step in the process. Well, we got a few steps in the process in the future, but the one coming up is the fact that, hey, you got to get to the finals. How do we get there? We've got a broadcast coming up, and so you got to make sure that you're following Stay Plugged In on all platforms. Look them up. It doesn't matter what platform you're on, X, TikTok, Instagram, wherever you are. Go ahead and follow Stay Plugged In. And know when that broadcast comes up, because we were there the last time. We got to talk to Justin Ellis, and it was a life-changing experience for me, being able to see these kids and what they put together.
Yeah, it was really neat. I know that's for some of them that we got to look like, all right, this is a very clear message. And for some of them, there weren't, but they still had some good feedback that came from Justin. And I feel like Justin really showcased that he's had a lot of experience, been able to bring it not just from his education background, but also just kind of life background, and saying, hey, you know what? You had a really good mind for this. Even if it wasn't, the most complete idea, you're definitely on the right track. And I love the way that all of this has been kind of massage to be put into perfect lanes, or ones that can be perfected. So I'm super excited to see how that all comes out, because a lot of those, like, there was one that literally was like, we're connected through this wormhole. I'm like, all right, I don't know how they're gonna do that one, but I want to see how that ends up panning out. So yeah, that's gonna be a really fun broadcast, be it this week or next week or whenever it comes out. Make sure check out Stay Plugged In. They're gonna announce it regardless, so just be ready for all the information as it comes at you.
Gotta be following Stay Plugged In, because we mentioned Brightspeed Fiber Internet, and their partnership with Stay Plugged In is why this is possible too. So Stay Plugged In, a large portion of this too. Brightspeed is great about getting to that next level, right? But with Stay Plugged In specifically, if college is the next step in your process, it's the place you want to be as a student, because I don't know if you know this, but college esports kind of popping off here. So you want to be able to get in touch with 450 plus colleges. The way to do that is by signing up for an account on Stay Plugged In, being able to connect with them, message them on the platform directly. You can follow these schools too to create your college interest list too. So you really want to find a college that not only that you're going to thrive in from an esports standpoint, but hey, what subjects do you want to study in school to get to the job that you want to be at, while also being able to support an esports team. It's really a win-win situation, Monkey.
Yeah, I know that some of you guys that love Rocket League were able to see the CRL championships. You literally could be on one of those teams if you're able to just get in, stay focused for all of a little bit of an ADHD moment. I know it hits us all, but also find yourself some confidence going to that next level, because you can set up a call with a recruiting specialist and create a customized recruiting game plan through the Stay Plugged In website. There's no reason not to check it out. So make sure you visit staypluggedin.com and create your player account today. That's staypluggedin.com. calm. And just to be able to reinforce that point there, Bear, I remember the scariest times whenever I was looking for colleges was not knowing who to talk to, what to do, and being able to basically kind of figure out what in the world is even being offered. And that, honestly, the meetings with those recruiters, it's such a great headwind to be able to get yourself moving in the right direction.
Fun fact, and I haven't even told you this, by the way, but when I was in college at UNC Charlotte, it's the second time around, so it was when I was old. But it was also when I started picking up Rocket League, because it's circa 2016, something like that. So anyways, I was in a class, like senior year, right, about to graduate. And in that class, I just started chatting to the guy next to me, and we became really close friends. We didn't know that we each other played esports. He's like, "Wait, you play Rocket League? Me too. We have a team here on campus." I said, "You have a what?" I've been here for years. Had no idea. Had it been for Stay Plugged In, I would have known all this. That's just one of the many examples of why Stay Plugged In can be super helpful.
That's amazing.
I digress. There's so many other ways that Stay Plugged In can help you. Tell them about Emerge Apparel. It's a pretty cool program here.
Hey, in case you needed some support for you and your high school program and you want a way to make yourself look so classy, how about you check out Emerge Apparel? This is one of those things that can help out all of you, especially for your booster club, some support that goes into your high school program. You can make sure that you have been able to create something that's easy to attain and to use. They have you can be able to create an account on their website to connect with coaches and begin building a pipeline for your players to have hundreds of colleges from not just that platform, but also to recognize what you're coming into. You have program building that you can do together through customized jerseys and merchandise. And through Emerge Apparel, the burden of the merchandising will disappear because it's on their online storefront. You don't have to print it off and have it in Karen's corner. It's going to be in her back closet. It's going to be somewhere else where you have no idea where those t-shirts are. No, you don't have to have 700 larges and the one small and that one kid that wants the medium. You can have everything from Emerge Apparel. So emergeapparel.gg. Replace stress with revenue and be able to get your program looking awesome today.
Get that revenue. Get that revenue for your program. You got a storefront. You literally just copy and paste your link and send it to students and parents, and you say, check out this awesome way to support our program. We can have money and then therefore support. So if you can't afford a Switch at home, and I know that's been an issue for me in the past, where it's like, how am I going to afford a PS5 to compete in this next esports competition? Like, how is that going to happen? Through Emerge Apparel, your school can now maybe gain some fundage and pay for that. Or maybe even in a state-of-the-art esports lab, for example, which Stay Plugged In also is able to provide, build out, plan in the first place. And so you see these wonderful situations at a high school, at a middle school, which some of these are examples of. And having one of these esports labs in your high school, game changer. You're legitimately, when a kid walks in here, they want to be at school. They want to be here. They want to be able to compete. And the way that they compete, you can set parameters. For example, you have to have a certain GPA, or you have to perform a certain way, or if you're going to have an attitude and start throwing equipment, well, that costs a lot of money, so you're out. There's really just there's ways that you can really manage these high school students. So as a high school program, really just building, shaping the future, just like you would have with the traditional sports team.
Yeah, and I mean, one thing that you had actually mentioned a little bit before, and one thing that I will reiterate now, you can also use this to be able to have those home-style competitions. I mean, I've seen some high schools that are really building their esports programs. They do some stuff either into the theater, the drama room, maybe even the gymnasium. Those are all awesome, and that's super cool. But this gives an identity to your sport. Just like when football and basketball teams are able to be like, all right, that's my banner. You get out to see that I was a regional or a state champion. You can do the same thing literally in this awesome kind of environment, being able to set up these labs, and it sets up for great recruitment. Some kids they have to be able to move all over, and not just academics and safety comes into play, but what extracurriculars does a parent's student want to do? And that very well could be exactly what kind of sways them to come your way. So that's really cool, and I love exactly what the entirety of the innovation lab has been able to do.
Definitely. Everything you said, I agree with. Also, it's not like a third party either. It's not like we're here trying to sell you something like this. It literally hit me up. Chris.lee at staypluggedin.com. Let's have a conversation. I'll get on a call with you, and I'll chat about it myself, and we will find a way to make that happen, because we do have grant writers on staff in addition to that to kind of help out where you need it. So anything that you need help with in order to create something incredible for your school, we're all about it, including once you get your new lab, what's going on? We need to be able to fill that with some curriculum as well, because I know when you go to your principals, for example, or if you're a principal here, we want to make sure that your students specifically get the experience like a Players League that we mentioned earlier, like a Formula STEM Esports Cup, or even further than that, right? We've done aviation, we've done drone piloting, for example, all this curriculum to really teach students what could really propel them at the next level. These summer camps are incredibly special, Monkey.
If you want something to be able to get, the old brain-nasium, getting new wrinkles for your awesome students and kids, make sure you do check these out. They're designed for schools and colleges, parks and rec, and it's just like boys and girls clubs and YMCAs. You have a great backboard that's really been supplied, and it has been applied into this concept. And there's been national expansion as well, with programs already active in North Carolina, Massachusetts, New York, and even more states are starting to adapt this. I've seen this kind of thing before whenever I started seeing a lot more STEM-based programs. It was something I was looking at for my own daughter. She loved it with Minecraft, and now seeing this even be able to be multiplied is huge. And you know what? It doesn't just have to be, good old summer camp that I still encourage, where you're like, oh, go swing a bat, get some golf going, run around the track. You can be able to rest easy. They won't be dying in the sun. They'll be able to learn some cool STEM stuff too.
I've been able to really be able to be firsthand at some of those summer camps as well. I've been able to teach commentary, for example. It's so cool being able to be able to connect and see the future students who really want to be a commentator. For example, obviously there's so many other things that you can learn too, like esports tournament organizing, for example, and they get to talk to Jordan and their face lights up. It's so cool. Awesome. We've got standings, by the way. Let's go ahead and check it out. We're about to get in the action here very momentarily, I promise. We don't want to talk your ear off. We're a bit of yappers. But we got the overall standings right now for Green Bay, where we see Tux Bear now at that 3-2 mark, but it's still Green Bay Southwest High School that is absolutely running the table in Green Bay.
Oh my goodness. The Tux Bear is the pride of Bayport, doing his darndest to try and keep everything afloat. Definitely at the top of the stack there, but wow, there is some depth when it comes to Southwest High School. Ghost holding that 4-1. You have 3 players of Z-Dog, Lightbee, and Minifish that I believe will be coming up here, but that are all undefeated. So that could be very telling as to how some of this is going to be going down. But I believe we have even more standings. Let's roll to the other one.
Do we? Let's check it out. I know we got Green Bay tonight.
Do we have any more?
Carolina. Yeah, we do have it. So Carolina we got going on right now. And once again, dude, it's very one-sided. T. Wingate Andrews just absolutely destroying right now.
King Mode got that one win over D&E and he retired. That was it. He was like, you know what? I did what I needed to do. So Hex and Abo Vico, that's going to be very spicy. Look, there's a lot of players that still need to find the remainder of their games, find their way through this little leaderboard. But since everything is round robin, there's going to be some losses that occur, and that could really kind of shift the stack that we have with these players as they're looking for these finals.
No doubt about it. I mean, King Mode was at that 1-0 mark, and I'm sure it's been improved since then. So let's go ahead and check out Houston, by the way, and see where they're at in the standings as well. We've got the 2 high schools lined up in Stafford High School and Woodlands Christian High School. Very much more balanced at first glance.
Yeah, this one, because all these games, if I'm not mistaken here, Bear, they do crisscross across the bend, right? Like they go between the schools. So you have everyone trying to face off against someone. Sully Monster and JW Painter holding that undefeated mark. Gabesert at the top. You may be wondering, oh, well, they're not undefeated. Well, they've played the extra game, so they kind of own this having 4. But either way, yeah, like this top 3 to 4 contention feels a little bit spicier as to who's really going to be showing up at the end of all these weeks.
And showing up they have been, but now it is time for the 6 o'clock block. Let's check out the matchups now. Minifish facing off with Munchlax Fan to kick it off. Minifish representing Green Bay Southwest High School, and Munch on the Bayport side. Looking at the stats here, Minifish looking like they have an advantage at that 4-0 mark coming in. But of course, like we mentioned all the time, it is not about what's on paper. It is any given I was going to say Wednesday, but it's a Thursday today.
Any given Thursday, they'll throw hands regardless. I
That's
feel like, obviously, as Munchlax, there's only been, Tux Bear on the side of Bayport that's found some general success of their 5 matches. This one feels tough. Obviously, Munchlax could show up and could put Minifish in the bin, but, I mean, look at the efficiency. A plus 99 point differential, 0 points allowed. This feels like David versus Goliath, and David's on crutches, and they left their lenses at their prescription somewhere else, and the sun was in their eyes. It might be a tough draw. We'll see if they'll be able to take down Minifish.
Yeah, I want to see if Munch can hang in this matchup, and if they do, that's going to say a lot about where they are. I mean, 1-4, so they're still able to manage a win and looking for more, and potentially that could be one of the ways to get it done. Also from the Green Bay region coming in, we got our next matchup of the 6 o'clock block, 2 per block, by the way. This one is Light B facing off with Flame Dude.
And Light B, if I'm not mistaken, coming out of the Southwest, they are in fact... Well, they're 3-1, so there's actually been an update from the previous leaderboard. That means they did take that loss from that previous week. Flame Dude, we have seen them before. I think they kind of suffered into the interception column of a little bit of antics. So this one could be a little tighter than what the other one might be, and I do wonder how eventually both of these will play out. Looking forward to it. And I've been so conditioned in the Green Bay region seeing, was it cheese with all the Green Bay? I don't know if we're going to be getting that today, at least with these first 2 matches here for this block.
That's not what I've heard. We're going to figure it out here. Obviously, we have the students, we're in the Discord server. We can kind of hear them chit-chatting, so we'll see what they bring out when they get to the field. Flame Dude, the name feels like a glass cannon, and it certainly has felt that way, which means that there's very much an upside, a very high ceiling. We'll see if that comes out here tonight. It's time for the mainframe. Bring it up here, Blasky. Let's get it going as we see the 2 matches in action. We have a Lions versus Lions matchup on the right side, by the way.
Oh my goodness, some good old Lions Den antics. Okay, can Goff go golfing? We're going to be figuring that one out with Flame Dude and Light B. But Minifish with Munchlax fan. That's going to be an Eagles-Ravens. That's going to be a bird fight, which, if you don't know how to play the Eagles, you better figure it out. But Ravens, this is actually interesting. I think we had talked about this a little bit ago. We hadn't seen a same versus same matchup before, and you and I expected at least somewhere down the line to see a Ravens versus Ravens. Lions versus Lions is brand new to me. Oh, and they're okay. I love those home jerseys, but that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I love it too. And you get to choose jerseys, by the way. So whoever chose that, excellent choice. Might be Light B, just by the way. They bring that in. But listen, there's Montgomery at the middle here for a few yards too. Let's go to that matchup specifically because I want to figure out who's who, to be honest. And we still need to kind of check that out as we go along. So let's go to matchup B, if you will, the Lions versus Lions now as we hit it. And right now, find out who we've got going on. So we got Light B as the player that they are playing currently. It looks like they might be on the fence. We're about to check this out, but either way, that's a good pass to right connecting, and down to the 30-yard line they'll go.
I believe so since we see Light B in the top right corner, I believe that we are watching from the POV of Flame Dude. That's right. Because they're
on their phone. Yep.
Yeah. So Flame Dude right now, we look, they already got a great pickup, and they're already very much downfield. So considering that we saw in previous weeks that they had a stellar offense, just didn't know how to be able to stop people on defense. This is a great first start. They collectively have some good gaps, and Montgomery had nothing but green grass before he was swarmed about 6 yards in.
Yeah, great for my fantasy team until he went down with an injury a little bit later on in the season. So Montgomery is a tank, man. They will give it to him constantly. That 1-2 punch with Gibbs is absolutely fantastic. So here we are giving fantasy advice and Matt advice too, as he's been excellent. They're going to try to go up the middle, and this time it's well read. So you see patterns, you recognize it. So I do like that move defensively from Flame Dude.
Yeah, and Flame Dude, he needs to be able to, especially whenever you go for some of these kind of short yardage rushes, you know that they're going to be able to pinch in, especially. They're going to bring that up tackle, and they're going to try and have them sprint, and you see how they're already closing off that A-gap. Do they go to Montgomery again? Don't think so. It's going to be a passing play. They actually give it over to Gibbs. That was a very kind of dicey toss right over the line of scrimmage, but they do pick up the first down.
Yeah, just able to get enough. Risky, but still on the move here down inside the 15. And lined up with one in the backfield, it'll be Montgomery again off the
Wow.
right side. Tackle finds a little bit of space before they're locked down, but not before they get to the 8-yard line.
This has been a methodical march. I love this. This is some down home Detroit style football. You're putting it between the tackles, and then you're able to stretch it wide, going behind every single keyed up block. Love the extension that you got there. Turn that into a 7-yard gain, and it's made it very difficult here for Lightbeat to find some defense to work. They only had that one shutdown bear, and then otherwise they've diversified the field.
And now an opportunity to Gibbs, but this one's going to be shut down too. So able to find the gap and figure it out there defensively. So they will force a 3rd down here, which the way they've been moving, it's not exactly what we expected, but it is harder and harder to punch it in once you get inside the red zone.
That 2nd and medium definitely has been keyed in here for Lightbeat and his defense. Now you're trying to set up a pass, and he's already in the shotgun, so you pretty much guarantee that it's going to be that. He's got Gibbs out wide left. He's got a man wide open as Williams will be picking it up, and that is going to be first points on the board here for Flame Dude.
Well, great start, kicking it off. You like to see them get 6 on the board and get that out early. So let's check on the other game as well as we go back out to the mainframe. And as we do the other one, a touchdown on the other side too. Zay Flowers in the back of the end zone. So you see more of that Lax fan getting on the board.
Munchlax fan. Good old look. If you don't like Munchlax, you can get out of my house, okay? He's cute. He's adorable. I see a 2-point conversion attempt happening. They're going to try and go right up the middle. Bit of a move that's going to get stuffed immediately. So going for 2. Flame Dude bit off a bit more than he can chew. And so far, they've only found one time that the middle of that has been open. An opposite 2-point conversion will be good to go. So they're going to be out by 8. Kind of differences there on that the 2-point attempts on the other side.
Well played. Getting 8 on the board. On the other side, as you can see, it did not convert, so it'll be a 6-0 lead instead. And both teams kicking off. So a similar pace between these two games is something to point out. So both teams were able to just drive down the field, get points on the board. That's not always the case, Monkey Man. We've seen plenty of turnovers earlier in this season. But as we've seen over the course of the season, it's been Players League, a tale of players really figuring out as time goes on, and we see it really cleaned up in some very clean offense.
Yeah, we have. So as both all these teams have really kind of found maturity over the course of these last few weeks. We've seen some players that literally didn't know how to play the game, and knowing that they now are able to at least kind of keep and hold their own is kind of huge. So that's been a huge maturity rate, as you see a massive pickup in our Lions game, another one that kind of gashes into the middle of the field. Then on the other side, you have, well, I mean, you got Saquon, you got basically a free 1st and 10.
Yeah, unless you're Justin Ellis trying to play the best in North Carolina. You have issues on that side. But, yeah, I mean, Barkley has just been a piece, a tail of the tape, and very, very much a big pickup for the Eagles specifically. But also, if you use the Eagles, you got to know who your strengths are. And then X Factor can come in handy a little bit later on. This a pass, but intercepted, read well by the defense. And so Munch, again, able to take it all the way back down inside the 40. So a great interception, a great turnover, and just adding to this momentum early.
Great pickup, and then we've seen so much of the kind of the INT game and the turnover game really spin things around, kind of on the top or on their head. You're going to see actually double coverage immediately for that the trip set that's outright for that left side game, trying to be able to extend the running game, I believe, down over to our Lions v Lions. That one gets picked up almost immediately, and then that goes to the big man and Andrews across the way. So I like that we're on either side of this. Do you want to drop in back to our Lions? Do you want to go to the bird fight? Where should we hang out?
I think Lions. Let's go Lions v Lions. I think they made enough of a push here to try and even things at 6 if they can. That's wide open, by the way. It's Sam Laporte has got some space to work with. The dive will miss, and wide open spaces will lead for a touchdown. Even ground here at 6 as Flame Dude gets on the board.
Flame Dude, I'll correct myself from earlier. That was Lightbeat that opened things up. A Flame Dude with one huge attack to be able to get that one from distance. And you give it to the big guy, and he just goes sprinting and dancing. You see the down, I think that was the cornerback. He left just off of his feet. So that left so much green grass to just be able to manhandle. And hey, you know what? Safe call. I'm not against getting the regular PAT, considering that the wind is nasty in Detroit. Oh boy, that one's a bit no good.
Yep, not quite able to manage that one. Even ground we go, 6 apiece, and the Lions v. Lions very much matching each other from an energy standpoint here on the field, as they do not convert on either side. But Lightbeat back in their hands. They've been dynamic here on the offensive side of the ball, and not a lot of room on that right side. They thought they might have some, but that one's shut down. So this drive will start from the 24.
All right, so both these players, looks like they've been kind of keying up some solid ground game, and then some of that kind of left the hand of Flame Dude. They definitely realized Goff can throw, and Goff is a major reason why this team was so successful. So seeing the more even balanced kind of playbook usage right now out of Light B as he'll go to his new 1st and 10. He had an empty backfield. Goff has a chance to be able to kind of navigate this. He's going to throw it across his body, and that is always a poor choice. Interception. Flame Dude is going to turn this one right around.
Wow, showing up. You said it might be a little bit closer than what we saw on paper. It's starting to turn out that way already, as Lightbeat just trying to make a decision to tuck it into a tight window. Nothing doing. And Flame Dude trying to take advantage of it too. And Montgomery's got space up and was trying to challenge that outside. Might have gotten some extra yards by cutting it in. But either way, that's a big chunk here on 1st down.
I was super surprised because I thought there was a wide open lane to be able to get it from just outside the tackle, maybe inside from that guard position. They're going to have a gap that's from the A position. They go diving. He's got Montgomery. He's got Wheels. He's got a chance. He dives with literally everyone. He'll come down to the 1. Wow. Okay, Flame Dude's trying to spin this story his way.
Yeah, able to avoid that first little dive. Once they were able to manage that, it was just a matter of trying to drag one extra member into the end zone. Couldn't quite get it done on that play, but I'm sure there'll be plenty more opportunities after this first quarter ends, potentially, in order to try and get that done. So the great, excellent start. Ideal if you're Flame Dude to be able to manage and get in this spot and try to punch it in 4-6. Almost inevitable, it feels like.
This would actually put Lightbeat, I'm thinking for a far future, and I know there's still plenty of time for Lightbeat to get back into the driver's seat. But Flame Dude, if he does get this big win, not only will that be huge for his confidence as well as for just overall week of play, but they would be able to force Lightbeat to be on the back heel of a couple of weeks of losses. That's going to be a massive tackle for loss, about 3 or so, but you still got at least 3 downs to try and punch this in.
Working backwards, never a good thing. However, you're right. Plenty of time, plenty of downs left here, and plenty of space up the middle, but you can't get there because they were diving on that far side. Had it not been for that defensive tackle, they might have had a touchdown, but they could not quite cut it back.
They had the pulling guard and tackle. They were going from left to right. That's a scat play, and if they'd been able to gash up that A, they would have been able to get it immediately. Laporta will pick it up, but here's now your decision. Do you take that 3? It was already difficult to even go for that PAT before. I'm not thinking it's going to be any simpler here. They're probably just going to go for it, but it looks like field goal will be the choice overall. They might be able to get it inside the pipes. Does it bounce in?
It did.
Oh my goodness, barely. But you know, it's a game of inches and odds here, Bear.
Did not adjust the cursor at all. I don't know if you noticed that, but the arrow stood.
Nope.
They were literally aiming for that post, and it did bank in, so they'll take the 3 regardless.
Wow. And hey, you know what? They're going to keep them from no further than the 21. So, for all intents and purposes, they got points off the takeaway. That's huge. Anytime you get an INT, you need to be able to grab some points and really punish your opponent. So it's going to be Light B that steps up to the plate this time. Good old Montgomery. You would never think that Gibbs was the main rusher for this team with the way that they go, that these players go for Montgomery. They want more speed than they want absolute power.
And Light B surprisingly hasn't been able to manage much, so we'll see if they can figure out a way around this defense that's just been stumping them. And right now they have some space right side. It'll be Williams. So Jameson Williams able to pick up that first down for a gain of 9. And right back to it here on the 32. First down from their own side. We'll motion Montgomery over to the left side on the shoddy formation. Now with 12 seconds left on the play clock, need to get it off. They will. And back will go Goff. They have that same play wide open. Jameson Williams again for a first down. Same pattern as he tiptoes down that right sideline.
Yeah, that's showing some dancing shoes on Williams. He had to be able to immediately turn that player upwards, otherwise that would have come up just short. So that little motion forced Montgomery to actually have to go into that tackle to tie it in gap. Interesting that they had that shift. Empty backfield, a lot of throw-in, and it has become Pistolero time. They know that Goff has the guns. The gentleman's agreement was to stick it to the ground for as long as possible, but now it is all slinging, and that's another big first.
And just keeping the time ticking, too. It's in your control. You can actually finish off this drive in one drive, right? Or finish out this half in one drive if you play your cards right. Montgomery off the right side, but this one will be denied. So the run game really not working as well as maybe just a dump off or a quick play, quick strike through the air has been much more effective for Lightbeast so far. So we'll see if they go back to it here in the 2nd and 9.
Trying to be able to get it stuffed. They have another chance. They actually had a lead blocker. I think that was Gibbs that was trying to find some space here for Montgomery. But no, that one will end up failing out. So 3rd and 8. They've gained a yard per. And, I mean, you gotta think yourself kind of keyed in to a lot of these players. This is going to be a lot of man-to-man as they don't want to allow any space to develop here for this coverage. They're going to try and keep track with them, but Williams is nearly a guarantee finding that little sliver of light, and that's another first down.
Yeah, now if you're Flame Dude, you have to be able to track this, right? That's been multiple times that they've worked from left to right across the field in order to find an open target in Jamison Williams just about every single time. So you have to be able to track that. Maybe a user pick could be on the way, especially if you're able to recognize this and get the job done in that manner. So, and you got to play counterproductive or counter aggressive in that way as well, and maybe switch things up if you're light B, and they're going to go to the left side. It'll be Gibbs with the connection, try to reverse course, and even though he did, he ran into a pile of defenders. Still good for 5.
He also ran into both of his blockers. The second one became Casper's ghost, and he just kind of zoomed around him. So good for 5, and also reversing our train of thought and the field. Everything had been sweeping to the right. They finally hit that flat out left. You still have all your timeouts, so a lot of time to be able to work with, especially here just outside the 20-yard line. He's going to have an option. I think it's at least twins to trips outright. At least a few that he may see sweeping, getting some drag routes if he wants to. No, he's going to get pressured as the pocket collapsed. That was an untouched defender.
Yeah, really now just starting to establish a little bit of pressure defensively through a blitz play. It's been the first time that I've seen it personally, and it does find a little bit of success. So now 3rd and 5. From just outside the red zone, from the 22 in the shotgun. Lightbeast certainly has had his hand forced, more so than maybe we expected. Here in the pass, batted down at the line. Great defense.
That's why they get the big men to do 2 things: dance and jump. I know those guys got bad knees by the end of their careers, but you gotta do stuff up like that. You have giant salamis for arms. Put that thing up, make it difficult. And so far, kicking has been hit and miss today. This one, though, much more in the midst of the pipeline. We're all tied up again.
Yeah, didn't bang it off the goalpost to get that one to go. So a 9-9 scoreline now. Let's go back out to the main frame and check on the other matchup that we have. Again, against Many Fish and Munchlax fan. And right now, it's shellacking to some degree at 22-0 mark. But trying to get it back here with a big play is that Many Fish side of things. We'll see if they can't get back to aggression as Munch has come out with really fists a pumping.
Yeah, let's check on that game. You know what? They're 22-0. This is where you have to be able to find something working. Hurts! Oh my goodness, what a way! Holy! As they're finally able to get some points on the board. I don't know if you remember, it was like week 1 or 2. There was a 20-6 game that ended up going 52-20. So we've seen comebacks before, and that's a big way to be able to at least get yourself on the board.
Yeah, especially when you're talking about a team that's 4-0 or a player that's 4-0 in Players League, and then they're going up against a 1-4 and being down by that count will certainly keep eyes there. As now it'll be 22-7, but you put the ball back in the hands of Munch, who's certainly found a little bit of traction here. So if they just keep putting points on the board and figuring out this defense, well, there's nothing you can do at this point in time. So a big defensive stop needs to happen here for Mini Fish. You got your offense figured out. Now it's defense time.
Remember, if you guys don't know the fishes, we've got one-hand fish and we got mini fish. So, which I think correct me if I'm wrong, is Minifish the little brother, or did they decide to Hooskow us and it's like the big brother but named Mini? Is that
The
right?
latter. The latter.
Okay, all right, so, all right, cool, all right. Glad I remembered the fish lore that I was given. Wow, nice tag up. They get flowers, and it takes 2 to throw them down.
Yeah, it's a small guy, but if he finds a little bit of space, certainly incredibly quick, and he can actually be tougher to tackle because you have to find your target before you bring him to the ground, right? We saw that with Darren Sproles for how many years that he was in the league. It's just like it's hard to find him if he's like 5'7", like Zay Flowers is. Just like Darren Sproles, I think it was 5'5". They said 5'6" on a good day just to make sure that he passed NFL standards. But yeah, Flowers was able to find a little bit of gain grounds. The pocket was well established there, but just didn't have anywhere to go with the ball.
Yeah, that's one of those where you'd think, okay, Jackson, he has his feet, but he's also kind of dead center pocket. So if he moves, he's probably going to get collapsed on or at least be dragged on by a giant mitt from a defender. So defensive line and offensive line, honestly, kind of a good stalemate to force that one to happen. You have a tight trips right. That's going to open up at least some drag options. They do at least shift one, so you're going to have a very heavy-handed mid-box. They don't give it over to the main man. They force it up the gut, and that's exactly what they're going to get in return. That's a huge interception, and Munchlax fan has a chance to put points on the board before the half.
Yeah, that's once again, we see a situation where they just completely bounce back. So it's been fantastic being able to watch these teams kind of counteract what you've seen from the other teams a little bit earlier. So a great turnaround once more, and we'll see if they can't get the job done here as they drop back. And Hurts left side will try to bomb it out, but that's dangerous. Somehow A.J. Brown comes down with that one. A dangerous ball, but luckily targeted to the right side where the defense can't get to it, and they'll take that.
Whew. Yeah, that one was hanging. You actually had him just right behind the, I think that was the strong safety that was back there with him, and he just is able to navigate over. You do have some extra time. 2 timeouts remaining for Baltimore, actually 3 right now for Munchlax fan to be able to get this happening, and he throws the ball away. We'll preserve those and stop this clock just as the defensive tackle came free.
19 seconds left on this clock at the 18-yard line, and Hurts back in the shot. He's got trips out right. Now we'll look to throw it that way, but no, the user error. Oh, Goddard was wide open, and unfortunately he stopped his progress.
Oh, no. You just got to keep them running. Let yourself get the player control at the very end when you got to assure the catch. Oh, they thought they had to kind of just parlay their route a little bit. That's going to be an empty backfield. They're sending the house. It's 3rd and 10. Oh, but they get caught up in thinking too long. Now it's 4th and 19. What do? I'd say you got to come away with some points here.
Yeah, you want to take the field goal. It doesn't feel great. But that's what they're going to intend to do and try to put 10 on the board before this half. And it's still going to go wide right. So it's tough to hit from that distance. I don't care if it's in real life. You typically see that landed. Still tough work done as the Eagles will, again on this side, just not be able to find enough traction. And they'll be down by a huge margin. But once again, you got that 7 on the board, and you'll get the ball back here for the second half.
You know what? That's okay because you're able to get that one back, and so even though you didn't come away with points, you stopped them from this entire situation from getting worse for you. So, job well done at this point in time. We'll see how this one all kind of ends up mustering up and see if Munchlax is able to get a campaign started again. Another empty backfield? Do you think he's going a bit too much in the gun, trying to set up too much of these passes before really kind of getting a ground game? And this is exactly why I ask.
Yeah, 100%. You're pressured, and then you start to say, I got to make a decision fast, and 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be the right one, unfortunately, especially when you're trying to rush it. Limited options. You try to sneak it into a window, and before you know it, big turnover, and here we go. Once again, an opportunity for Munch as Jackson will drop back in the shotty. Now it's another forced shot, and it's picked off again this time. You've got more just absolute, presence here from the defensive Minifish who will get this one back.
That is some tomfoolery. That is astounding that we get to see. They're going to actually try and empty this out again. So more interceptions, a wide open man, a Saquon, because he can do it to him. He's trying to be able to at least get one. He's just going to get hand tackled. That's not what you do to one of the best players in the league, and that's going to give him even more bonus yards for this next set.
already bulky in this game, so have to be able to just like, you can't truck them either, truck Barkley either, because then you just kind of bounce off. You have to be able to just grab him, wrap him up. Here's an opportunity as well, far side, snuck it in! How did he get this one? They'll count it. It'll be 13-22 now.
One step at a time. Munchlax trying to upend expectations. A 4-0, a 1-4, a David and a Goliath. Well, David just threw down his crutches, took a Sensu bean, and he's powering up, baby. It's 14-22. What a miraculous, like, thread of the needle that was there, Bear.
Insane. Well, there you go. Once again, just being able to find some of that value. So, that being said, whether it be luck or just being able to use that mechanics to perfection in order to kind of bail yourself out there, I suppose. However you draw it up, though, it's a very close game here as they're able to battle back. Let's go to the main frame now, as that comeback certainly seems like it's coming to life. Want to be able to check on the other one, which continues to be 9-9 here coming into the second half as well. So much action happening. As you see, Flowers also connecting on that left side matchup as well. So Munch able to gain even more ground there with that Ravens team. That offense is popping. And meanwhile, the defensive struggle, so really a tale of two different tapes.
Yeah, this is kind of wild. This is two halves of not just the games, but the seasons that's really kind of come into the narrative here, Bear, because obviously some of these students, they're kind of lackluster when their record is showcased in the standings, but now they're kind of showing up in the best moments that they can. Andrews on a huge pickup. Well, you know what? One way or another, these guys are slinging it from distance, and that's a great way to be able to pick it up again, as Minifish will get another touchdown. We just saw a sack before, and that's going to be an INT. Huge find this way around here for Light B.
How appropriate is that of what we were just talking about? Left game, absolutely popping off from an offensive standpoint. Meanwhile, the defensive absolute battle, which I'm actually a huge fan of. You see that kind of developing on the right side. So let's go ahead and focus in. I'd love to see this one. Let's check out Flame Dude and Light B once more, as Light B's got possession here. Like you mentioned, it's not as easy as the game might lead on with a 3-1 and 1-4 matchup like we've seen.
Yeah, that one was that was on a line. That was a zipper that was going towards that man. If they do not get an arm to block that, that is a free lion that is going to be trotting through the Sahara. So job well done on that previous defensive play. They go to 2nd and 10. You see how just kind of down into the nose that this defensive line is. They are super stacking some of these linebackers. They may drop back into coverage as well, trying to be able to get at least into their face. Can't quite get much. They gain just enough to at least make this 3rd and 7 reasonable.
Yeah, and within manageable distance. We'll see if they get it done. Interesting formation here, though, as you see them pack the box, essentially. Now they're going to try to go out wide with this one, but bat it down before they could get there. And now it'll be 4th and 7. No shocker here that defense is stepping up once more.
Bro's arms are like Gumby, just whipped around that player. Just, get out of here. Don't want none of that. You saw that in the replay. Love seeing that. Okay, so we'll see how that one is getting to go. So defense definitely is making a line, and the line has been drawn in the sand. Interesting that because the defense is showing up, maybe there's a lot of trust there, but they are going for this on 4th and 7. That one would seem like it was a bit offside. Oh, but no, they were trying to get it through the middle. That gets swatted down. A turnover on downs. This is a huge moment for both teams. Right at the midfield, they've dug this trench.
Bit surprised, not that defense continues to just running its head here, but the fact that Light B chose a play-action play on that last play, as that dive just barely gets him by a shoestring. But to see that play action, a play that takes very long to develop on a 4th and 7, it's not a decision I've seen Light B make very frequently. So a bit of a mistake from my perspective there. And that's leaving the door wide open for what could have been a big play there, but thanks to the string tackle, it'll be 2nd and 1 instead. As Montgomery trying to find space, and does by just hanging it out. Also able to hurdle one to get to a first down. Took a lot of work to just get 3.
Look, those high 90 scores of speed for Montgomery. Look, that's exactly why he's able to do that, because he looked like he was Sonic the Hedgehog running through a loop to go backwards and then gain all that momentum forward. You have a lot of defenders that are cutting that gap, and guess what? He's doing it to the other side. All right, stretch the field wide, exhaust everyone else, including Montgomery, and it's going to be 2nd and 4.
I feel like I'm watching Justin Ellis with the Eagles right now. Just hand it over to Saquon left, Saquon right, Saquon middle. Just try to find ways. And now play action, try to throw them off. Just a tight window again. 2 out in the slot. Still able to manage a catch here, but not much gained.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was a loss of 1. I think they were at 2nd and 4 before. So this 3rd and 5, I mean, reasonable that this is 4-down territory. You've got a tight end down. They're going to shift out Laporta, and he's actually been a very key weapon for getting this thing to work. They're going to try and give it back to Montgomery right up the gut. Oh, and you know what? You go hurtling into a bear hug, still a 1st down. And 2 minutes here into this 3rd quarter, I can tell both teams, not just offensively, but they're also game managing as they're trying to really grind away these possessions from each other.
Yeah, they've certainly been able to gain possession, and the turnovers have been there. But here's Montgomery off the left side as well. Couldn't quite find enough space there either. Space has been very hard to come by. We've talked about this Lions defense. It continues to continue to show itself in 2nd and 6 here from the 8.
You're going to have 1 out in flat. I wonder if they're going to key in that Gibbs is going to be out that way. But no, they just go straight over to the main man himself as he comes up with it again. That is huge. Flame Dude able to find a touchdown. We have been so shorthanded for how many of these TDs have come through in this game. This is only the 3rd one of the game, Bear, and that's going to make this next decision really pivotal. Can he get a PAT? We're doing 2-pointer.
Yeah, PAT it is. Will be the decision. A little bit off the left side. Whoa, it's a fake! Why? Oh, no. Somebody's got to tell Flame Dude here that a fake extra point just adds extra yards versus going from the 2. So maybe you catch him by surprise there, I guess. So I don't technically like that one, but I did like the touchdown, though. I want to go back to that because Sam Laporta, when you have a lot of defenses stacked on you, you got to figure out how you're going to get somebody the ball. Why not a big target who's strong and able to lay it on somebody with great hands, too, like Sam Laporta. So I did like that decision to get the touchdown at the very least.
You know what? If they're playing cheeky like that, that's as Madden as it's going to get. Just like, all right, do the thing that really doesn't make no sense. Oh, Goff is getting, oh my goodness. Even more Madden of him as I think he ran like, 30 yards just to chuck it out.
Your voice pattern as he was being chased down was absolutely excellent. Oh, boy, because it was accurate. He was on the move. And Goff doesn't typically do that. So either way, he'll settle into the 2nd and 10.
Yeah, play the Benny Hill music. I want to hear nonstop saxophone. Oh, he runs right by him. He picks his pocket. What a move out in open space. And for everything that the silliness of the previous play was, that one finds another fresh set.
Yeah, I love to see that user-generated moves that really make work of the defense, especially in a defensive struggle where you have to get creative. Use those abilities that you have in STEM specifically, right, in order to really make the next move possible. That one, though, is going to be tracked down for a loss of 1.
Yeah, hit him with the sledgehammer because that man just reverse pancaked. He hit the defender and then tackled through that. I think that's called a bonus. Whenever you go to the war room and you get to talk to your line coach, he's like, yeah, man, here's an extra sticker for you. Oh, Goff is under pressure again, and Flame Dude is making life difficult.
Yeah, just constantly in the backfield. And it's not like they have to bring like 6 or 7. They're bringing 4. And typically that's enough to really get the job done. They'll bring 4 again. That pocket open this time. Laporte able to manage to get 20 on this play in order to bring it to a 4th and 2. That was huge.
And they're immediately calling him up. This is going to be an empty backfield. He's going to have a lot of weapons. They may even run Goff. If they cannot get to him, no, he's going to stick into the pocket as a 0 play, and he knocks it out. Oh, that is how you do violent football. Getting the pigskin rocked as well as the player. What a defensive stop on, and they're going to get that turnover on downs.
Oh, put your Guardian caps on for that one. That was a hard hit. Unfortunately, going to jar that one loose if you're on the opposite side of the ball. Lightby is really scratching their head at this point in time as the 4th quarter is upon us. Now still just holding on to actually down by a pretty margin here as Flame Dude trying to put more on the board and really trying to put this one essentially out of reach, especially if you can kill some more clock and get a touchdown.
Yeah, if he gets another touchdown, I see this one being unreachable. With how the defense has been standing up, it'll be huge. Goff on the play fake. Oh, but the turnover. Branch will find that one in the middle of the field. Has a chance to be able to get not just that, but more. Can they get a pick six? They're going to get so much down in distance, and they're basically where they started, Bear.
Oh, my. Yeah, back to it. Had it not been for Sam Laporta making a play to be able to storm back, wide open space for them to work with. So Light B, great play, but Flame Dude able to at least save himself. And we'll see what Light B can come up with. This turnover wide open. Jamison Williams again down inside the 5 to the 1.
Literally a yard out. This is, oh wow. We were just singing about how this game could be just kind of talked down. We could throw to commercial. We could get out of here. Nah, not with Lightby at the helm. Dude has one loss. He's going to try and do the old tush push. Nah, give it over to Gibbs. A yard out. Gain momentum. We are tied before a PAT.
Yeah, got to go for the 1. Obviously, you don't want to fake an extra point here. I think we're going to line up for a regular 1 here and put it on the board, take the lead. Although they haven't been automatic, especially in Detroit. Not the Windy City, but pretty close. Seeing it's off that same bay. So we'll see what they come up with here. And for the defensive standpoints, look like they're going to guess that way. Sure enough, they'll go for the 1. Try to take the lead here, 16-15. Not always automatic, but we'll see if they get the job done here in order to take this lead before we go out to the mainframe. They do. Light B on top here for the first time, which is crazy to say. To the mainframe we go.
Will that fake on the PAT haunt the likes of Flame Dude? We're going to get to see that later. In the meantime, that defensive effort has been going on. We've now gotten this other one that has been an offensive showcase. 50 points between both these teams and a couple touchdowns. Just when we thought that Munchlax fan was starting to get themselves moving, well, you know what? They decide they want to immediately go to possession. A big INT to try and keep this one reasonable.
Yeah, Munch trying to at least keep it close here. And so now that they've got that INT, that was huge because it could have very well gotten out of hand. So we'll see what they do on this next possession as well. Let's go ahead and focus it in. We haven't seen it in a minute. So let's go into that first game, match A, if you will. And also a big gain. So off the turnover, getting big chunks of yards as well.
This is where the macro game comes up huge. Now, obviously, you can run a little bit quicker because you're playing Madden. You're going to have Saquon Barkley as your lone back. You have everything basically mirrored on either side. They get caught up in traffic. And if you're doing a lot of ground game, especially this late in the game into your fourth quarter, you have a lot of time left in this. But you need to be very quick about your play calling quality, especially. Munchlax, he's going to drop back. They use Saquon to pick that up. It's going to go across to Brown, and unfortunately, he got caught by the only man that was standing like a statue in open space.
Yeah, got caught up wrong place, wrong time, unless you're in the perspective of the defense there, who was able to find themselves in the help of A.J. Brown, bring him down. It'll be a 3rd and 3 now. As they've got in motion Saquon Barkley out to the left, got trips in tight on the right side. Now we'll find a wide open target with Goddard. This time he's going to pull it in for a 1st down and 10 at the 16.
Hurts put that into the corner of his elbow like he was about to rip a Beyblade. I don't know about the extra power that was given to that one. They're going to try and give it to Saquon, but he is gobbled up behind the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 12, that pays you no favors. And again, it's quickness about how they have to hit this playbook, as Munchlax is just given no time to work with if he wants to have a chance.
And over to the right, Barkley open, space to work with as well. Try to get to it. It's going to get hit nicely just outside the 5, but not before. Another 1st down, and really starting to lay it on to try to inch back. Still running out of time, though, so they need to go quick. They know this. And inside 30 seconds left on the play clock, that's when they'll snap it. It's up the middle to Gainwell, and they're able to bring him down early. So no Saquon Barkley. Give it up the middle, and Gainwell was tracked down early.
You got to save the team hugs and high fives for after the game. He got caught right on the sweep. They had, I think it was the tight end as well as the tackle that were moving from outside left to kind of clear that A gap, and then they just end up pancaking each other. That is not good looks if you're trying to execute, especially with all the traffic that's happening. So you go to 2nd and goal. Still, just enough time to make it reasonable. Saquon on extra efforts will turn this into, right now, a 2-possession ball game.
it's what you needed here at this point in time. Otherwise, this game is completely over. So able to get back within, like you mentioned, striking distance, as an extra point would put them within 14. So they want to go ahead and go for, the 2-point conversion to put them within 14. They'll be over the Barkley. He's going to be tackled in the backfield. So it'll be 16. So even if you get a couple of touchdowns here and able to bring it back, you're going to need two-point conversions as well.
Yeah, you're going to need to go all in. And I mean, first off, you're going to have to stop this offense. And you need to stop them from executing. You have 3 timeouts, so that's at least good news for right now. But you have to keep and contain Minifish. And from what we've seen, that's been a bit of a tough task to alter at this point in time. But you know what? I love the fight that we're getting out of Munchlax fan. 1-4, seen a lot of maturity, but Minifish is trying to stay perfect.
Yeah, and 1 touchdown here. Even a field goal here at this point seems like it puts it out of reach here. So as long as you're able to melt some clock, you're good. I'd like to see some responsibility with the ball. It's over to Mark Andrews. That'll be a first down here. I mean, you've got Derrick Henry late in the game. We haven't seen him utilized much. I'd like to see more run plays here, to be honest. But that one still worked and got him a first down.
Yeah, Henry basically has been a non-factor. You're winging this one out. You're seeing it go outwards and everywhere. And this one, I feel like there's still time for it to kind of develop. I actually want to go out to the mainframe. I want to see what's happening with the other game, considering that was a 1-point game and they're about as deep as we are. In fact, it's a minute 15, and you have Flame Dude on the opposite side of a good thing right now as you have this marching down.
Yeah, that's, again, an offensive possession here to maybe take a lead, extend that lead, rather, into another place. But an interception other side, so now they're pulling it close. Munch able to be in striking distance, the exact answer that they needed. And I warned you, you got to be responsible with the ball, and unfortunately, that is not the case here for Minifish.
Okay, it's 4th and 2. That a timeout needs to be taken as well in our Lions versus Lions game, or else this is gonna run out. As they absolutely need this ball back. If they can be able to get this stop, this game will at least open up a chance for Flame Dude to be able to go 80 yards the other direction. Can they find it up the gap? No, they do not. And that should basically sure this thing up with 30 seconds to go. Bear, they're gonna be able to do a runoff. That one looks like it's about to close out.
Yeah, it sure is. So we'll go Lions v. Lions, a.k.a. Match B, and see that we have ourselves a champion. Yep, sure enough, with 5 seconds left, no way they could stop the clock, but they figure it's not worth it here at this point in time. So time ticks out, and holding on and still staying at just 1 loss will be Light B. Not as easy as we thought it was coming in, but they will win this week.
Congratulations over to Light B. And you know what? Flame Dude did show us some maturity. I love to see the growth that's been happening. But you know what? We've got a birds match that we got to figure out right now, because there's definitely is comeback potential. Let's hit it up onto our remaining game here for this 6 o'clock block and see if it can stay within reason. You have the 2-minute warning that just kicked off here, Bear, and that's enough time, especially with 3 timeouts, for Munchlax fan to maybe post up a comeback.
Got all 3 timeouts. You want to strike fast. It's an open target. Got her, but down the field, somehow they were able to have the chance to get back defensively to swat that one away. But it was looking good for a second until it all got shut down.
Was that a Hail Mary? That was like triple on triple. They just threw that into a bus load of players that are on opposite teams. All right, so you know what? That ate up 4 seconds. That's fine. So not the worst situation in a reasonable fashion that will stop the clock. So I know they want to get chunks, but unfortunately for them, that was in fact 4th down. They could have gone for something that could have gotten them something more to that 1st and 10, and that actually, with that big stop, they're going to have to keep that clock paused.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if they're calling a timeout right now. They need to. So that clock, tick-tock. All right.
Okay.
So we see it continue to run off. And 30 seconds on the play clock, so you would expect here them to just run it down if you're not going to call it. So is that a confidence thing here? It's hard to tell, seeing as it is a virtual competition at the end of the day. So we're not sure exactly what their thought process is here. And, just going to continue to take under a minute 30. So almost a tale of victory here for Minifish if they continue this one. They go back to pass the ball, though. Have space to work with. Interception, no. The throwaway, both sides. Maybe a long week. I know they just came off a spring break, so maybe they're just trying to get reaccustomed, but I don't like that play at all. You just opened a window and really could have run off more clock and even gotten a first down, maybe with a run play.
Moment of hubris and forgetting that King Henry still sits upon his throne, apparently very bored. And that gives another chance. It was a 4th down turnover on downs just a moment ago. Maybe that's why they didn't take a timeout. They're going to commit some level of offensive atrocity. This time around, I think you got to expend it. They're going to at least let some of this burn as they look for this next play to come up. So Munchlax fan has been given a vice of at least chance. Go with double tight. They're going to have to get this out of hands. They give it to Saquon Barkley, and they tell the Wizard to do his work, but he is taken out in open space.
I thought Barkley was going to pull the trigger somewhere else. I don't know if you saw that, but it was just a toss, a dump out to the right side behind the line of scrimmage. So I had an opportunity to maybe toss it, but open space, more time off the clock. You have to burn a timeout. They got out of bounds, maybe? No, clock's moving. So for that reason, once again, you want to save your timeouts, but you don't have much time on the clock anyway, so you got to find a score here quickly. But a sack is the absolute worst thing that could happen here. Now time on the clock, 4th and 16, not looking likely.
I'm thinking that these players just don't know what the timeout button is. It's pause. Just hit the start. Oh, that one will hit the back of some linemen. That's never where you want that ball to go. Another turnover on downs, and I feel that this one, if you hand it off to Henry, or regardless of this one just simply burns anything in green grasses, will be going over to Minifish. They do give it to Henry, and they're going to force this one to basically be settled in the middle of the field.
Yeah, that should do it here as time ticks down. They won't find the timeout button late either. So time will burn off the clock here. Give it to Henry for his victory lap. So the usage of Henry were the last 2. And maybe it was a challenge, from the Ravens here. Minifish coming in saying, hey, certainly got the stats to back it up. So let's challenge myself in this instance to maybe use as little Henry as possible to get the W here today. Congratulations, Minifish, for your win here on the 6 o'clock block in week number 7.
Staying undefeated as part of the undefeated crowd out there in Green Bay. So he's going to stay into a very small grouping. But you know what? If you're trying to get the all Madden challenge done, playing Ravens with no Henry is definitely an interesting way to play. A lot of weapons. You had Flowers, you had Andrews, and they had a lot of ability to really run up the points. Still a lot of love over going to Munchlax fan, as well as Flame Dude, showcasing that doesn't matter what the records look like, they're still bringing the fight.
They made it super close, and Light B was able to pull it off and still remain at that 1-loss mark. So very good season indeed for Light B, but respectable for sure from Flame Dude as well. That'll wrap up the 6 o'clock block, but the 7 o'clock block is about to heat up after this quick break.
Come on. Before I switched to Brightspeed fiber internet, things like slow speeds and random dead spots really brought out the troll in me. I mean, I spent hours causing trouble. But then I switched to Brightspeed's fast, reliable fiber internet, and the rest is sunshine and unicorns. Looks amazing, Barbara.
Ultra-fast, Brightspeed fiber internet. Switch to the bright side.
Welcome back to Players League here. Monkey Man and Bearlight with you as always. We just wrapped up the 6 o'clock block where we saw many fish get their win, get theirs, if you will, and Light be sneaking it out there on Flame Dude a lot closer than we anticipated.
That one came down to a single PAT fake, a 1-point ball game to be able to seal it up. A defensive battle, an offensive battle, but there's 2 big battles just around the corner, Bear. We got to be able to hit up this next block.
The 7 o'clock block, bring it up. Our matchups begin with KOS Aiden, with the Vikings facing off with Cheese on the Green Bay Packers, is what they've told us, both from the Green Bay region.
Cheese has been so loyal to the Packers. If there is no love for Cheese playing Packers every single week, I will be mad. I will be so furious. Aiden has been pretty efficient over the course of their games. They're I think 1 game short of everything in terms of total, or actually at least a couple to what the amount that Cheese has played. But we've seen Cheese from week to week be a titan against some of these players against them.
Jeez. Please, I want to see you win. You've been so close week after week, and you've been improving week after week as well. And I'm just so excited for you as far as being able to learn the game of Madden and really be able to just advance forward in your understanding of this game. So I really, listen, Aiden, nothing but love. But I want to see an upset here with Cheese. That's all I'm saying here. Bayport High School, I think, gets the win here just because I want to see it happen. Let's get in the other matchup now. It's Tux Bear facing off with Z-Dog, as we've got them going head-to-head. Tux Bear, a shining light. It was what otherwise been a tough season for Bayport High School on the esports side specifically. I think their storyboard was pretty cool, though, with Monkey Man.
It really was. Tux Bear has the lone winning record, but for everyone here for Bayport. So we're going to see how that one ends up developing for them. But this is kind of our premier match of the week. Them versus Z-Dog, who's currently undefeated, both with pretty stellar defenses, fewest points allowed, 9-0. They have just as many, nearly just as many in terms of point differential. So this is going to be a heck of a fight. The key difference that really screams to me, though, is that it's, again, Tux Bear has played 5 games, Z-Dog has played 3, and yet he's maintaining nearly about the same creds that Z-Dog is walking into, but with more games played.
Yeah, Z-Dog's got a shutout to their name, hence the 0 fewest points allowed, which is insane. And then plus 84 differential, also crazy given the 3-0 nature, like you mentioned. So 104 points on the board is wild over the course of 3 games. So it's Tux Bear better have their defense locked and loaded. But there's only one way to find out, and that's by bringing up the mainframe. Can you bring it up for me? Thank you, Blosky. Let's get in going now as we've got the 2 games on the board here. Monkey Man, I got my prediction out here for the 2 games. I've got Cheese and Tux Bear winning. Yes, that's right, over the Z-Dog. I got the 2 underdogs here. Who do you got?
Ooh, okay. Well, you know what? I am a Cheese advocate, but I'm also a Vikings enjoyer. So I'm going to rail against you. I'm going to think that Aiden is good. I think it's going to be a close game, though. That's an NFC North battle, and I think it's going to go NFC North style. On this other game, I have no idea. This is actually kind of a coin flip to me because both teams have been so good so far. I feel like Tux Bear obviously has a lot of kind of weight on their shoulders, repping Bayport and having to do all that they will to be able to keep this the school alive, especially at the top of it. Z-Dog has a perfect record at this point in time. I wonder how much he's been tested. So I'm gonna sit in the Z-Dog court. I'm gonna be opposite of you, mostly for the narrative. You know, let's do this.
Yeah, mostly. You made some good points too, so I don't know how to feel at this point in time. But also very responsible offensive play right now as we get to stay in the mainframe for a more extended time than I'm used to, as Josh Jacobs taking it around that right end. Both defenses able to lock it down, but not before some really big gains from the offensive side from both of these offenses. Right now, lots of space there from Montgomery on the right one. So, ball on the ground. It is turned over, though. Oh, he's spoken into existence. Z-Dog able to take that one on Tux Bear to get the ball.
You're just talking about how responsible everyone was, and then that those words painted butter all over the fingertips of these amazing NFL players. And for the first time tonight, we're gonna see a Ravens team using Henry on a run play. Impossible.
You couldn't do it if you pay. Wait, they did pay him a lot of money, and that's what he does do. And they're going to go right back to him as well. Look at the space open up in the middle, but it was shut down completely quickly. It's Lions defense that just shifts over before you can even get any gain ground.
It's huge. And, I'm not at all surprised that between these two different matches, it may seem stark for the side of Cheese, but Aiden's at 2-1. It's not like it's, like the 4-0, 5-0, not a huge kind of differential against them like we saw in our previous David and Goliath, Minifish and Munchlax fan. That one's going to be just as close. And as you see kind of all the traffic, both these guys are trying to be able to pile this one up. That's going to be a huge dagger that actually gets chopped out. And I love that the defenders kind of immediately start barking at each other like, bro, you were in this coverage. Where are you at?
It's so funny to see automated characters. That's a great dump off. Lots of space there from Josh Jacobs on the left side. And speaking of space, Henry, what a cut there was on the right side as well. And Z-Dog finds some extra space on my Tux Bear over there, fellow Bear. Just giving it up. But, I mean, just look at the screen creating space on the left side as well. And it can't be understated that, the 5 games that you have under belt here in the Players League for Z-Dog might be teaching him a whole lot as he's been looking really good on this first drive.
He really has. Not everyone is going to find kind of the ability, especially to pick up a fumble. Feels like those are one of the more rare turnovers. We get a lot of INTs, but we don't often be able to see that thing punched out, especially out of the sure hands. That was Montgomery for this Lions squad. You got to see a lot of Montgomery before, but you're getting a lot more of Ravens. As you're going to see Jackson literally go a mile backwards. Definitely throwing that one away is a good thought, as this other campaign between Aiden and Cheese has been all just staying alive, especially in a 4th and inches. They go diving. That's going to turn into a 3rd and 1. So I'm glad that we're staying on the main frame for this one, Bear, because we have 2 really good opening offenses, and I wouldn't want to have to pick up just either one.
Yeah, both of them have been making work, and they also have work to do. As the tighter you get in, the tougher it'll become. 22-yard line there on the right side, but the left side is where we'll see the next play. Cheese wants to convert here. 4th down territory for sure, especially where they are in the field, but it's batted down in the hands of the defense. That's a lineman being able to pull this one in. So, turnover, a big one. Aiden getting the ball on that side. Meanwhile, 4th and 1 on the other side as well as Z-Dog with an opportunity there, but a flag down. Believe they jumped the gun.
Oh my goodness. So look, the big men got mitts on their hands, all right? Those things are able to snag a ball. I know mostly they're there for slamming things down. Instead, it looks like that we're going to be seeing something settle for a field goal. First point score between either of these games is going to be 3. That one going over to Z-Dog. Great way to be able to at least shut up Tux Bear, but they only get 3. That's Tux Bear limiting the damage off of what was a very fortuitous fumble recovery for Z-Dog.
That's always so tough in my eyes. It's like I didn't even cause this, hard counts, but yeah. So maybe you draw the AI offsides, but that's going to be frustrating. So I really look to their mental fortitude to say, hey, I did not have anything to do with that. Sometimes a game be like that. Let's get back out to it, right? And see if they can't manage that.
Well, you know what? I want to drop into that Lions-Ravens game. I think that'll be a nice focus. Let's get in let's get in right behind Tux Bear as he's at the helm.
All right, let's hop in now to what would be match B. As you see them drop it off, it's Tim Patrick over the middle. We'll get that first down. Gaining a little bit of extra space over the middle. So after that turnover early, that gave the ball to Z-Dog. Hello, English. Now they're going to have the opportunity to drive down, try to get on the right side of the field here on this 1st and 10.
Give that dog over to old Z-Man. Oh, he's going to get picked up immediately. That's actually one of the difficulties that we've seen for trying to spread this field wide. If you get that defensive end just kind of chilling there, he can play spy. He can just play contain. He doesn't have to go anywhere. And if they do that with Montgomery, they're going to do it again. And they try to rip it straight over to him. That is one of those plays that you have to either let develop or you better be not throwing into traffic and you might just bootleg away from it instead. We're already at 3rd and 12.
Yeah, that was a quick decision. It was almost right in the hands of the defender. He bobbled it on his way to the end zone, essentially. That's one of those where you see the defense kind of run and just hold their head and be like, oh man, wish you had it. But you move on. 3rd and 12 instead. Defense still in a good place. They're going to play the flats here pretty hard on this one. Nobody out to the flats on this play, though. Over the middle, though, St. Brown is read nicely by the middle linebacker of Illinois. Able to put them on their backs here. It'll be 4th and 8.
That's going to be... We haven't seen a lot of punts. I am getting so surprised. Real game management? Insane. All right. So, considering that there's been some settling for Ooh, okay. General defenses. That's actually a better return than what it could have been. You did have at least a player control character that was right in front of him, but tough to settle your feet, especially with all that speed without committing a penalty. So things will turn over. We're going to see the Ravens come in, and I mean, I love that we're seeing some opening up here with Henry. Oh, wow. Okay, he doesn't have the best wheels. Oh, what a move! He just comes up short.
That cut was disgusting. I don't think we see that from Henry very often. He will plant a foot, right? He'll plant a leg, and he'll go straight into you. But that one was just like a hard cut to just absolutely throw out like a Barry Sanders-esque move there, which was insane. But up the middle again. Love to see King Henry getting his, as he should, in my opinion, as they have a 3-0 lead looking to add to it as well.
He's there to be big, there to run in gaps, and there to run people over. That's exactly why you have this kind of squad. It is just gritty, gridiron football. They're going to go right back over to Henry, trying to hit that outside gap. And again, they're forcing him to move wide. I love that they have the sidestep motion to try and get them some yards. They will gain 6. Do they get this off before the quarter ends? I think they're going to try and get 1 before we hit the clock, but that one ends. Nope. They're going to let it run into the second quarter.
Yeah, couldn't quite get that snap off. And no rush in this one. Has been very much a defensive battle here at 3-0 at the end of the first quarter. So once more, it's just Z-Dog that's been able to kind of control the pace of play a little bit better. Tux Bear with that interception a little bit earlier in this one. And since then hasn't been able to really gain any kind of traction here. And Z-Dog looking to run away with it. Here's this 2nd and 4. On this side of it, track down completely. Going to go in the 1-and-1 situation. User caught by Zay Flowers when he was just outmeasured by at least a couple of inches in height-wise and still got up to that one.
That is wild. And you just basically chucked a jump ball, crossed over Jackson's chest. That's going to be a free play, as they're going to let Henry bring up into it. And I think they'll actually be able to bring this one halfway to the goal line. So they'll accept that, and this is going to be 1st and goal. That is massive.
Prime real estate. Now it's got Henry behind him. Right now looking for a pass play. They got Kohler on the right side. Not typically utilized, but they're going to go to him far side. No, they got Mark Andrews instead. Right behind him. The throw wasn't perfect, but it'll work.
These unbalanced throws got me tripping, Bear. I don't know what to trust anymore. Jackson, I know that he's been kind of re-coached on how to navigate a pocket, how to kind of go into a system, but this is Z-Dog playing like Jackson used to play at Louisville, and seeing the crazy sliders that we're getting as he just kind of wings out right, throws it from that angle. It's wild to see that work.
Oh, man. Been working for sure. 10-0 count, by the way. And Tux Bear at that 4-1 mark. Not finding as much success as they've had in the past, so this is now a statement piece to try to get back to it, which is why we'll keep you here, because they could really easily just bounce back and get 7 on the board and be back within that 3 mark. So really want to see if they can accomplish that. As the shift is from right to left, they got 2 wide receivers out left. And we'll roll right instead with Jared Goff. Does have some space. He fired a laser there. Maybe a lob play would have been a little bit better, but it still works for a 1st down.
I don't mind that he put that there, but it was definitely dangerous considering the coverage was right underneath. If they'd been able to kind of lob it a little bit past, might have been able to lead his receiver and he can gain even more ground. But considering that he was doing that unbalanced, well, he was able to at least get that first. This one's going to be for a loss, 2nd and 14. And wow, what a way for them to cut through that offensive line.
For as much as Tux Bear has been using the Lions, I would like to see a lot more utilization from Amon-Ra St. Brown, but that did not quite work. And I think they were setting up the screen here on this one, but took a little bit too long to develop, and you can't get out of the harm's way in that case.
If we don't get a 1st down off of the next couple of downs, I think we should check out the mainframe again, because this is starting to scream Z-Dog in control of the game. It may take a halftime to really kind of give Tux Bear a level head. They're going to bring that over the cross, but hold on. They're going to bring up their other main rusher. Gibbs comes up huge.
Absolutely able to bring that one down, but more importantly, be able to hold on to it the way he got shellacked in that last little sequence. But you take it 1st down now inside the 40, so doing just enough to keep us here, especially when Montgomery's got plenty of space to work with. Not sure what the cut was. Cut it behind for a 2nd and 4 now.
He knew he didn't want to go out of bounds. That's one, but didn't quite make the line to gain. I think he ran about 25 yards to gain 6. So Goff trying to roll out, gonna cut across, give it to Gibbs, nice move, gonna go back between the hashes, ends up in a triplicate of a hug, and yet, that's huge. That's a wild way to be able to get a first down, and they have a 1st and goal, 10 pure yards to get to that end zone.
Trips out right, 5 wide receiver set, and Jared Goff in the backfield. Now we'll motion Laporta from right to left. Has an opportunity to punch this one in, bring it back within 3. At least back within 4, and then extra point we've always got to wait on. But now they've got open space. Laporta, good cut in as well for the touchdown.
They gave it to him just as the tip of the nose of that ball made it over the line. Laporta otherwise lost a barroom brawl at the goal line. But what a move to just send one dude sailing, and he knew no one was covering Laporta. That's why he motioned him in to take that inside cut lane. PATs have been anything but automatic, but this one is dead center. So, okay, this is a ball game now.
Got ourselves close. Let's go out the main frame and see what's happening in the other one. Hate to miss any action that might be brewing here.
Ooh.
7-3 matchup. You love it. Aiden up 7-3 currently. Got the ball back in hand as well. They've got it all the way on their own 22. And see if they can't add more to this lead here at this point, Monkey.
Yeah, let's check it out. Let's rock and roll in that way. So we'll get to see if Cheese can kind of shut this one down. They're going to find a wide open man. Oh, Addison! Just as we get the focus. Well, they're apparently not too quick about it. It's going to be 1st and goal. Maybe they didn't know what the sprint button was. I thought it looked like they were just kind of going for a normal jog.
Yeah, they kind of like cut it in love to Justin Jefferson, and that would have been a touchdown regardless automatically. But they should be able to punch it in here, too. Aaron Jones on their own former team, that is. And loss of 2, though. They're back to the 3.
Okay, so not exactly a sure thing. That's kind of NFC North style. 2-minute warning. It would be a very, very successful position for Cheese to be able to stop this, considering, what was a massive, pretty large pickup. They're going to rush that A gap, and they make life difficult. A second wind and gasser gets them a little bit closer, and as crazy and chaotic as that traffic was there, Bears still 3rd and goal.
Yeah, they gained 1 somehow. I don't know how. The amount of work that Aaron Jones had to put into, or at least, Aiden made Aaron Jones get to that 2-yard line was very massive, but still, now within reach. Sam Darnold will motion one over. Opportunity. Fakes it, throws, wide open. Great play call, and a touchdown to make it 13-3.
When you get everyone keyed in, you overload the box. You don't give someone a chance to motion over, and you don't. That's the toughest thing. It's all about timing when you're this close and pinned into the goal line area. And so they're going to be going for a 2-point conversion just to keep them honest, and knowing that they might actually do the same thing again. Do they free up that A gap? It's going to be, to literally nobody. I think they were trying to lead him a bit too far. So it's just a 10-point game.
Yeah, the Cam Newton special there, late in his career. Wide open to nobody. But
the Patriots?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
The tail end of the Carolina career. It got a little rough there from time to time. But typically it was an overthrow, just looking like it's to nobody. But, I thought the ball was on the ground, but he was just taking time to get to the ground here. So, confirmed. Cheese will have the ball back here. It has been less than a perfect season from a standings standpoint, but Cheese has seen a lot of great things happen. We'll see if they can find something on this drive.
They have 2 big options with Watson and Wicks. They're going to be going on to that delayed kind of 10 to 15-yard spacing. Jordan Love running it out. No! Baby, no! That's going to stay in Packers' hands. Lineman will go and recover it, but you got to slide.
Yeah, my boy 63, because holy cow, you bailed me up. Yeah, you got to get on the ground, especially with Jordan Love, who can rush, but is also very young. Madden's going to pick up on that, and any quarterback is very vulnerable for that. So, yes. Also hitting this one, too. Tucker Kraft somehow stayed in bounds. Still on his feet. The man's a monster. You can't get him down.
Man, you're going to have to pivot with that couch, because that thing, they were not spinning him out of bounds. He was just standing there, a Empire State Building of just non-movement at the end of that run. I think everyone expected that dude to get clocked. Cheese will take a timeout, preserving as much clock as possible, definitely showing some of that extra maturity and some growth here going to this game. They've got to get rid of it, trying to chuck it into traffic. That's actually better left uncaught.
Yeah. Instead of a loss of 1, instead it'll be 2nd and 10. Also stops the clock before the half. Opportunity for Jordan Love. Drop it off to the right side, open Josh Jacobs. Trucked down, though, as a good hit stick. Will land here to keep it at 3rd and 2.
Another timeout getting used. You can have some time to breathe, have a moment. You got to pause. You get to kind of look around, see what you can get. You have that trips setting to be able to get everyone on these long post routes. Oh, and they throw it right into coverage. Now, Griffin did step into the end zone. He has to be able to back his way out, and this will be a nice return. But the better thing about this is that Aiden just stopped Cheese in his tracks.
Yeah, right when it was ticking down. Last opportunity before the half to get some momentum. Absolutely shut down. And once again, Cheese takes 2 steps forward, and it feels like they take just 1 step back. So still making progress over the course of the season, but still has been a difficult road. Continues to be that way. Although there's still another half to play. It'll still be Aiden in control. And play fake, which might have should have just been a run, but it's caught by Justin Jefferson, who's got space to work with as well. With 31 seconds left, now a chance for them to punch it in.
3 timeouts right in the middle of the eye of the triangle between that coverage. Triple coverage, but it was in the pocket between it. Wow. What a find to be able to get between that. So Aiden is trying to get himself some bonus points just before we hit half. He's going to let this one bleed as much as he wants. Oh, that's going to be a difficult catch, and it's because the coverage is all over me. Had that minor amount of separation, but he's got at least this clock stopped.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's gentleman's agreement or trying to find the timeout button, but once more, I think they could have definitely found some beneficial usage out of that. Maybe just afraid of turning the ball over and giving them another chance for Cheese. Could be another case, so maybe you don't want to use that timeout, but that one was close to being picked up. So close to half, it wouldn't matter much, but still a 3rd and 10 situation here in this one. As time will tick down, so they'll have one more opportunity to maybe strike from a distance. We'll keep eyes on this one. I still say we go mainframe. Nothing too crazy can happen, and nothing that we can't see by going to the mainframe itself. And we are starting off this second half with a 14-10 lead, by the way, as Tuxbury able to turn that one around here. As we keep eyes still on the left side, though, as it'll be the last play before the half. We want to see if they can pick it up.
That was, 10-7 when we left it? So now so they've been able to get a touchdown since then. So we got eyes on. Do they keep this one tackling for a little bit longer? Is any timeout going to be made? No. So this is a matter of Cheese knowing the macro game and how important those timeouts are. And Aiden kind of leaving some of that behind. Thought they might be able to get some extra points. This one instead is going to go right back to Aiden. But as we cycle over, we also see this 14-10 kind of gambit. I like what we're getting both these players. That's our premier match. I want to see much more of this Tuxbury versus Z-Dog matchup.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and focus in as we let you know the second half of the 7 o'clock brought to you by Brightspeed Fiber Internet. With ultra-fast speeds for all your streaming, gaming, and work needs. No more dead zones, just reliable coverage everywhere in your home. Check and see if Brightspeed Fiber Internet is available in your area. Type !Brightspeed into chat. Thank you to Brightspeed as well. And speaking of reliable coverage, you want that from a defensive standpoint to try to hold on to this lead, but you got Isaiah Likely in free space for a first down.
Likely looks like he is just here to catch a ball and not run quick. Dude wants to just move in a line, whatever that may entail. This is definitely going to be a handoff direct to Henry. They want to be able to take some power play into this. How you feeling right now with Z-Dog? Because I know you picked Tuxbury. I was able to kind of run over with Z-Dog initially. The pick was moving, but it feels like Tuxbury has now gained some ground and gained some confidence.
I do think that Z-Dog has a chance, needless to say, because it is close, and they got Henry, and he's working up the field. But one thing I do want to point out is that not only is momentum a real thing from a gamer standpoint, right, the one controlling the actual bots here on the field, but it's actually built into the game as well. Now, it's not, fun fact, Madden, it's not as bad as if you play NHL. For example, I'm very experienced in both games, but the players actually perform differently based on what has happened in the last couple of drives. So I don't know if you know that or the players here know that, but truly, the X factors don't really come alive unless you've been performing well. So that's on the side of Tuxbury coming into the second half.
So I'm gonna be real. The only hockey video game I've ever played is Nagano 98 on the N64. And
Nice.
Apparently Jackson is just going to rip one from scrimmage to end zone. Wow.
Wide open space means Lamar Jackson is going to go and utilize it. And we talked about Henry's importance in this running game in order to run over individuals or at least get the train moving. And then you have that Jackson 1-2 punch where just like when you're not expecting it, when he's back out to pass and you have to track everybody, you got to make sure that you have eyes on Lamar Jackson. You can try to keep one from the defense and keep him as a QB spy, but even if you do that, you take one out of coverage or from your pass rush. So you have to pick your poison against a dynamic player like Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, this is exactly why this team, year after year, especially with the addition with Henry in the last couple, has become so dangerous and has been deep in the playoffs. They have a very quick QB that has a lot of power. He's very Michael Vick in terms of the speed that can be gained onto all of his throws and the versatility of confidence to be able to get out of the pocket. And then all you needed was a little bit of extra coaching and instruction to get them confident in the system that was built into Baltimore. So they're going to have a good first down pickup here as Tex Barrett going to try and move the line. We end at inches on this third down.
Here's why I've liked Tuck Spare for quite a while is the vision, right? That's something that you have to have in Madden because you literally control the player. In that last play with Gibbs, it was great vision, and now the understanding of the position here to just pick up an inches situation, and you do that with the little dive from the QB sneak. And now fresh ground here in this 1st and 10 as they look to battle from behind. They've done it before. They'll need to find a little bit of extra space. In the shotgun, you've got 5 wide. An opportunity is Goff waiting to get this snap. Does. Now it's Amon-Ra St. Brown. I said he needs to get more involved. There he is for a first down.
That was a very interesting call because of the shift. You actually had Williams uncovered. They did not put an inside linebacker on him, and so they had to kind of wait to receive him to be able to move all the way to the outside of the box. They made the box compress, and you had the cornerback on the inside slot receiver trailing. So he didn't know if he had to cover that zone or wait. So very good play call right there. St. Brown, he'll pick up about 5. Now this is also, I mean, I know we're in the third quarter here, Bear, but this is also where some of that play calling, also clock management comes into play, because from this campaign you could also limit the options if they're going to be able to get a touchdown, maybe even just like force them to get a tying field goal.
Yeah, 100%, and that would be gigantic. Get the ball back just in time for the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
In addition to that, would be huge. I mean, that's the right place, right time. That's Amon-Ra St. Brown for 3 in a row. And like I said, the players get better and better as you utilize them. So once that's 3 in a row to Amon-Ra St. Brown, getting it close. 3rd and 1, it feels like a must convert, especially keep it close in the shotgun. Not guaranteed. They'll give it off to Gibbs. Opportunity, but being absolutely clocked in the middle of the field. A 4th and 1 instead.
I'd go for it on this one. You got to take it. You got to take the moment when you have it. You're on the plus side of the field, and I mean, there's no field goal to really be gained. So just go. You're not going to bury it with a punt. Don't go up that A gap. No, get the tush push to work out. I'm pretty sure they're able to get it. So good old 1st and 10. And Goff getting in someone's face is never going to be not awkward to me.
Yeah, for real. It just doesn't happen. Oh, Montgomery.
Center. He smacked him with his elbow.
Right in the face. Swung it, just trying to hold off the defender, and then yell in the face. So there he goes, down to the ground. Is Montgomery just absolutely located and detected from the get-go. A difficult situation here at 3rd and 9 from the 38. Not a whole lot of options in the playbook for this one, Monkey.
Not a lot. I mean, it definitely feels, and it goes right into the style that Goff likes to do, and that's exactly stand up. And then, unfortunately, when you fake the run, you go for the play action, you better have your running back ready to pick up that block, especially up the A gap. That's been where so much of the strength of the Ravens defense has lied, and now you've got to tackle for loss. They barely got it the first time, 4th and 14. I am starting to have my doubts, but Goff has shown me that they can throw before they go for another play, and they actually just chuck it straight to the opposite team. Hey, that's one way to get a punt.
Yep, down at the 20-yard line, so touchback it is. Played out just like you would see anyway. So, yeah, that sack was huge. You go back to it, and you're like, now that you're on the 44, field goal is out of range for sure. That's so tough to hit in Madden. I don't care who you are or that you have, a massive kicker. So in that situation, just not just closing the playbook play by play. And you got to credit Z-Dog for that defense and for Derrick Henry. Somehow bounces off another one and almost picked up more. It'll be a gain of 6 here to the 26.
Going to the fourth quarter, it's a 3-point game. I want to see what the other one's doing. I want to see everything's happening right now from both these teams, because Tux Bear, he's been keeping it close, couldn't quite kind of close that gap. We've also got another 3-point game, 13-10. Aiden just above, and he's trying to make this campaign work as he's in the third quarter.
Yep, and Cheese getting some defensive stops too. Let's go ahead and take a peek. Let's go ahead and go to this one and see if they can't gain some ground here. Cheese looking to hold off on this 3rd and 13. A play fake, not enough time. And you saw the defender right there, but did not have the reaction time to pick that one off, because that would have been to the house.
Yeah, the defensive linemen, they're not there for quick reactions. They're there to eat steak and potatoes and to get into a fist fight. So that one's gone to a pause for a moment, so we get to see kind of both in real time. 14-17. I'm not at all surprised to see both of these being as tight as they are. I know that Aiden's only played about 3 of their games. Cheese has really been successfully learning across every single week, and it looks like they're actually maybe taking a player pause that's happening on that game. So that's actually kind of interesting. So if you are Z-Dog for this matchup with them and the Lions, or against Tux Bear, you're just aiming to kind of burn a lot of excessive clock, especially if you can be able to assure yourself that you're using Henry in the right way to burn time and just getting some crucial yards and just keeping this rolling.
But a play fake, and Jackson couldn't get away there. So I would have liked to see them just hand it off in that situation, to be honest. But either way, the clock's still going to tick down. 3rd and 14 will be a little bit more difficult to manage. But we'll keep it here at the main frame, because both of these possessions are huge, especially late into their drives. 4th and 13 on the left side is what you're looking at there. Cheese with the opportunity to make a huge defensive play, but can they spoil that? A catch, but it'll be knocked out of their hands, jolted out, and a turnover on downs at the 25 here for Cheese. They'll have perfect field position.
I don't know what our Madden bots ate tonight, but it clearly was Wheaties. It's a lot of protein because they are chucking their bodies at each other, and we have seen more pops of the ball than I've seen in any of our previous weeks. Really just chucking these pixels around, and that'll be a turnover on downs. So we get Cheese with a chance. They're going to have actually a massive one as well, considering that at the 25-yard line, that was a very critical place to be able to pick up this next offense. And opposite of that, Z-Dog is just trying to keep this one alive. It's 4th and 9. Can they get this first down? Hoping maybe to get someone to jump. I don't think you're going to get that right now, and they're just taking as much time as they can off this clock.
Yeah, I just melted down. I like this play call. No doubt about it. Play clock down to 5. You got to get it off.
Timeout.
Yeah, timeout taken here. And punt they'll go, I imagine. Unless they're going to fake this one. Looks like they're running a play. They said, let's stick to our guns. And so both players who are in the lead going to take risky moves to go back out here and try to convert.
Oh, that's so dangerous. I wonder if they're going to go back on this. No, they're just going to try and get Jackson onto an island. They actually forced them to pause. That's going to be a flag because he threw beyond the line of scrimmage. So that's nil. That's nothing. That's over. So that'll go right back into Tux Bear's hands.
Yes, and on the 37 as well. So similar storylines on both sides of the coin right now. You saw the equalizer on the left side as Cheese was able to get 3. So now it's high ball game on the left side. And now an opportunity for Tux to either do the same or take a lead.
I need a TV. I need 2 TVs that are in my house so I can see in this in full screen, because both of these games deserve the absolute cinema that I can watch that they are presenting to us right now. Okay, so a tied ball game. That's in the third quarter. This is nearing the 2-minute warning. Let's drop back in with Tux Bear and Z-Dog, because I feel like this one's going to be a fierce finish.
Yeah, agreed. And wide open space. Tux Bear is going to get this first down and more. Down to the 15-yard line off the hands of Gibbs out in open space.
Wow. Okay, so dump off. They've been able to recognize when the coverage is just kind of breaking down. You see so many Ravens that crowd the left side of that box. It was just an equal but opposite. Knowing your options, looking at the field, and they give it straight over to an open man. Great job there by Tux Bear. Not panicking when all that pressure is coming in. Definitely a strength of the Ravens is how much they can crowd the line at the front with their 4. But as they squeeze this one in, 15-yard line, Bear. They have a chance for another first down if they really need it, but they could put the dagger in and get this lead back.
It's to Montgomery, open space, but then once again, the AI Wheaties coming through the gap. and be able to just slash him to the ground. 2nd and 8 instead when it could have been wide open space. I think Gibbs with that little bit of burst speed might have been able to get past it, but you can't think about that now. 2nd and 8 from the 14. Plenty of space out right. Thought about going for it. Instead, going to run it and slide down, but not before the first down marker, so it'll be 3rd and 1.
Slides, when you give yourself up, that's when the ball is placed down. So that's why he comes up short, even though he ends up progressing over it. They're going to go for the tush push. The 1st and goal picks up. All right, 40 seconds. You are on the timer. If you're Tuxbury, you got to start thinking about when you want to take this. Do they try to run a play before this one all goes down?
I'm surprised he got the first down in the first place. Looked a little bit short, but we will give credit to him. At the 5-yard line now, 31 seconds left in...
Z-Dog.
Hold on to this one. Took the timeout instead, huh?
He wants to preserve clock. Okay. Do you let him score here? And what do you do?
After you move. Yeah. You have to. After a timeout, yeah?
I would think. I mean, if you're trying to just let him park the bus, it's going to... What?
No!
No way! It deflected off of another receiver and ends up in the hands of St. Brown. What?
That's crazy. Off the hands tip drill from the offense, apparently. And it works. Tucks Bear, 2017. The magic of the Bear prediction may be carrying him there at this point in time as they look to make it a 4-point game and put it out of reach from a field goal standpoint. And now it's going to force the hands of Z-Dog to go all the way back down the field with just 28 seconds left and now just 1 timeout in hand.
You know what? He did took the timeout to preserve that clock. And I thought maybe let him score so he could get it back and just thinking that it's like a done deal, right? I don't think anyone planned for it to happen like that. So job well done by Tux Bear to get this lead. He's put it out of reach of a field goal. And now it's everything for Z-Dog to preserve a perfect record. And there is not a lot of time and not a lot of support for this Bear.
He was hovering the play action pass, and I got extremely nervous for a second, but he's going to go with the shotgun instead. As you saw him kind of filter through some plays. And think about this one, because it is the biggest decision that he's made all night long. Opportunity with Jackson. Back of the shotty. Now going to lob it. Nobody back out there, though. And user interception. Tux Bear going to lock this one down. With an interception, Joseph just goes on the ground wisely. And Tux Bear is going to walk away with this win.
Congratulations, Tux Bear. You see all those Lions. That's exactly what Detroit was looking to do and looking to be at the end of this previous season. Maybe they'll have another chance to do exactly that. And it's everyone's favorite formation. Good old V for victory as this one goes over to the side of Tux Bear. Z-Dogs thought he had Aguilar, but just threw it a bit too far and a bit too soon before that route came to full maturity. Job well done. Bear, congrats on your prediction. Hey, paving the way one way or another is some good old magic for Tux Bear.
One bear on bear action there. And so we said it was going to be the classic matchup here. It had to be the featured matchup because it was such a close one on paper. I felt like we've watched both of these players throughout the entirety of Players League. They've been very active on the esports side, trying to get onto broadcast specifically. So you love to see that from Tux Bear, and you saw enough, but now you see things shift. Cheese with a lead here, 16-13.
Cheese he's gotten a couple field goals in his last couple of possessions. We saw some magic before. Tux Bear still holds true for his high school as 2-minute warning comes in. All right. They're driving with Aiden. He has the ability to get a field goal if he can get within range to, again, tie this one up. We've seen, I think at this point, 5 separate field goals between both of these. They're going to just get it straight up the gut, work a little bit of that clock. And if you are Aiden, you got to consider, okay, if you can get that touchdown, that's awesome. But maybe don't give any clock to Cheese if you're thinking of settling for yet another field goal. But you don't have to worry about any of that if Jones, he ends up into his own line. They have formed one person.
It was a sack race. Both of their legs just in one as they're trying to shuffle down the field. Oh, my goodness. Left arm, right arm, just carrying him.
Like an octopus, just a Cthulhu. Oh my goodness, and they're gonna get this touchdown as well. Oh no, okay, 2nd and goal. Wow. Okay.
Chaos. Pure chaos. We have bouncing touchdown. This has got to be, by far, the most entertaining, amazing block that we've seen all Players League long. Like, hands down.
They're down in the shotgun where they're literally inches away from getting this. I'm surprised to see the stand up, and they're throwing it, but it doesn't matter. They get it automatic. Gonna go up 3, barring a PAT or 2-point on the other side. Aiden takes that lead back.
Wow. Yeah, shotgun surprised me, but it's very similar to what we saw the other game, quite literally, where it was just we'll fake it up middle, just throw it out left, wide open target, able to land it. So now is it a 3-point game. They will add the extra point too. Tack it on. 4-point game. Gonna force a full field move here from Cheese. Remember, last possession they've gotten points, but it's only been field goals, Monkey.
It's been tough, and now you have to get yourself a touchdown. No ifs, ands, or buts. This is the only thing left available to be done. Reed is going to bring this to center hashes, and he took about 4 seconds before dropping in. All right, 27 seconds, Bear. 2 timeouts, and we got to see if Jordan Love is going to be up to the task.
I like seeing that there are only 2 timeouts left, simply because you know where the timeout button is. And also, hopefully to be able to use it. But there's not a whole lot here in the zone. They're going to try the one-on-one situation down the field. Intercepted by Aiden. As Mattel is able to bring it in now and has open space too. But went into a tackle situation. Very dangerous, but they do secure the ball down to the ground. And with 14 seconds left, this should do it as well. Yep, with 2 timeouts left, it should be victory formation.
Poor Cheese. Well, it's not quite victory formation. They're just gonna. They've been giving a lot of yards to their running back, and he's been giving themselves some great value. So why not? Oh, McCarthy. What? Oh, just for reasons. Yeah, a nice skip into the end zone as Hawkinson adds 1 for punishment.
This block is the most full of surprises I've ever seen in my lifetime. Nothing has played out the way that maybe we thought it would. But a big win from Aiden, just adding injury to insult at this point, adding points to a very close effort. And once more, the story continues for Cheese. He cannot catch a break this season. I promise. You're going to get yours at some point, Cheese. Don't give up, man.
Oh, just shredded cheese at this point. Unfortunate for him. That's wild. Turning that INT, it's good to go. It's just a bit of extra, cheekiness at the end of the game, but this one ends up going the way of Aiden. It's rough for Cheese. He's definitely shown some growth. This was such a tight matchup, and honestly, I was wondering how Aiden was going to bring it. Apparently, the ground game just opened up all options. All right, here's what's crazy here, Bear. He's down 11. All right. If he can score.
Okay.
If he can score.
Score.
If he can score.
Oh. I wanted it so bad.
Congrats. Over to KOS Aiden as Green Bay Southwest will take home the dub.
Nothing but great vibes here today. Congratulations to Aiden for your pickup and victory here in Players League Week 7. I don't know what to say. This was pure chaos from the get-go. Congratulations to Tux Bear pulling off the upset, which is the only one of the night. Granted, all of the crazy things that happened here today. Got to shout out Flame Dude for a close battle against Light B, and the close battle that was between Tux Bear and Z-Dog. At the end of the day, this was, you can tell that the teams are really, I don't want to use the term evening out, but because you have the ones that are less experienced becoming more experienced, you're seeing more and more tougher games as the weeks go on.
Yeah, I'm only kind of sad that we don't get to kind of have a double round robin of all this, Bear. It feels like there was such good prominence and growth. Everyone that maybe was either novice or brand new to Madden, and the ones, like you said, that had that experience, it felt like we were finally getting some of that extra, just coming into their own, finding a form, playing into how their teams were. And you know what? This is how competition goes. Love that everyone basically just left it all in the field. Some decisions, fake PATs, maybe not the greatest ideas, but you know what? They left it all out there.
They certainly did. And speaking of leaving it out there, we wanted to throw this out there, that we still got Formula STEM Esports Cup as well with Stay Plugged In. So make sure you get Grayson, too. It's not just about Madden. We've got so many titles. First of all, before I get into iRacing, Stay Plugged In has been a multitude of titles, Rocket League, Valorant, any of the great games out there, Overwatch, for example. We're even adding a little bit of a special new title, Marvel Rivals, doing something with more details on that one. But go ahead and start racing at racing.staypluggedin.com. They go to Sao Paulo for the next one. So Brazil in the rain for this one. And of course, like I mentioned, you can just hit podium and get to playoffs. So it's not too late to register there at racing.staypluggedin.com.
So I know it's a different track. I need to know for all of that. Changing the location, changing the weather. I'm assuming that's a huge change up for the cars, right? That's big on the pit crew and everything they got to do.
Yep, that's right. It's what tires do you bring in, right? Because the soft, medium, hards that you have in F1 completely change. You go to intermediates, for example, the slick track. You got to find a way to adjust your car accordingly, and obviously it gets slippery out there. It means a lot of high school drivers trying to figure it out there in the rain. Which honestly, it's been incredibly impressive to see the ones that are on the top end just perform. A lot of them have racing experience, have been not iRacing, but just sim racing since they were 10 years old, for example, which is one of the examples there. So the kids are actually incredibly competitive. So if it's your vibe, you need to get signed up.
That's amazing. I can't wait to be able to see that. I'll be tuning in coming into the next one, as well as you guys should also tune in for not just what Spen has been able to provide, Brightspeed being a great partner as well for all this and for intents and purposes, but as well as future Players League streams, because we will be doing some STEM as we have our next competition and everyone getting to decide where those finalists are going to be, who are they going to be, and being able to have those projects come to final form. So that's going to be very exciting here, Bear. And the only way to be able to really track that down, make sure to follow Stay Plugged In. All the socials. If you know what a social media is, Stay Plugged In is probably on it. So go and find it. Doesn't matter if it's X, if it's TikTok, if it's literally right here. All of that will be announced, and you guys will be able to know when that next big stream is going to be.
Yeah, and it's going to be a good one, too. We'll welcome on Justin Ellis. We'll get to see the rough drafts of the commercials that they've been building off of the storyboards. It's a special one. There's no doubt about it. Plus, we'll determine who gets to Green Bay at some point in time in that process, too. So that is huge. Who gets flown out, who will get to showcase their video. Finished version, by the way, not just a rough draft, the full version, and be able to compete and get the feedback there when we're live in Green Bay in just a couple of weeks, Monkey Man. The time's flown by.
Oh, wow. Look, I already know that I'm old and I'm dying, but seeing this month just whiz on by, seeing this year go by has actually been amazing. So, hey, look, Players League, it's eventually going to have to end, but not without it being a massive boom. The trumpets are going to be loud. The concert will be there. And look, it's going to be on the same weekend of the NFL draft. It couldn't be any more climactic than that. And it's going to be an awesome just venue to be able to have everyone just see what these awesome students have been working on the entire course of this semester. Very excited to be able to see it.
I am as well. And of course, more Players League coming at you as well. Follow the social media like Monkey Man said, and we'll see you next time. Good night.
we gonna